You've seen the pitch. Throw some banana peels and coffee grounds on your garden, wait 30 days, watch dead soil come alive. A lot of those videos skip the part where doing it wrong either does nothing or makes things worse. Dead soil, compacted, low organic matter, low microbial activity, runs about a few 100,000 bacteria per gram. Healthy garden soil runs 1 billion per gram. That gap is 3 to 4 orders of magnitude, the difference between a vacant lot and a working bed. In healthy soil, microbes are breaking down organic matter, releasing nutrients, building structure, feeding each other around the clock. Pull away the food supply and that system collapses. Slowly at first, then fast. These 5 scraps can restart it if used correctly. Coffee grounds carry 2 myths that have been running around gardening forums for 20 years, and both will send you in the wrong direction. First, spent grounds are acidic. They're not. Fresh, unbrewed coffee is acidic. Brewing pulls most of that acidity into your cup. What stays in the filter tests between 6.5 and 6.8, essentially neutral. Putting them on blueberries to drop soil pH is a waste of time and grounds. Second, coffee grounds fertilize your plants, not directly. The nitrogen in spent grounds sits at about 2% by weight, but it's locked in organic form. Soil microbes have to break it down before a root can touch it. That takes weeks, not days. What grounds actually are is a dense organic matter input. Spent grounds run at roughly 93% organic matter. Your average garden soil sits around 7%. Even small additions shift that number. Now, a 2016 study published in Urban Agriculture and Urban Land Use grew 5 crops: broccoli, leek, radish, viola, sunflower, in soil amended with spent grounds at rates from 2.5% up to 25% of total soil volume. Every crop grew poorly at every rate, all 3 soil types. The culprit was nitrogen immobilization. Microbes flooding in to break down the grounds pulled nitrogen from the surrounding soil before any plant could get to it. Direct, heavy application suppresses growth. That's the opposite of the pitch. Grounds go into the compost pile, not straight onto the bed. They count as a green material, same bin as fresh grass clippings. Keep them under 20 to 25% of total compost volume. Push past that and you get a paste that chokes airflow. If your pile has gone cold and slow, a few handfuls of grounds will bring the temperature back up within a week. They feed the microbial population that heats the pile. If you're putting them directly on beds, some gardeners do successfully, work them into the top 2 inches. Surface application builds a water-repelling crust. 1/4 inch layer max, mixed in, then water it down. 30 days in, improved soil structure in clay beds, a slow nitrogen feed starting as decomposition kicks off, and a measurable bump in microbial activity. Foundation work, not a quick fix. Banana peels have a problem, and the problem is how the numbers get used. The 42% potassium claim floating around. That's the percentage of potassium within the total mineral content of a dried peel, not the percentage of the peel itself. Fresh banana peels are about 80% water. Run the actual NPK on a fresh weight basis and you get roughly 0.1% nitrogen, 0.1% phosphorus, and 2.3% potassium. Potassium is real and it matters. It drives flowering, fruiting, root development, drought resistance. For tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, squash, a steady potassium supply separates a mediocre season from a productive one. Peels do carry potassium. The mistake is in how you use them. Burying a whole fresh peel next to a growing plant creates a problem. As the peel breaks down, microbes need nitrogen to do that work. They pull it from the soil around them, from the root zone of whatever you just planted next to. For 2 to 3 weeks, you've created a localized nitrogen deficit. Plant yellows, stalls, and you end up adding fertilizer to fix a problem the peel caused. Cut the peels into 1/2 inch pieces before burying. Surface area jumps by a factor of 10 or more, and decomposition drops from 4 to 6 weeks, down to 1 to 2. Bury 4 inches deep, away from the stem. Drying and powdering works faster. Oven at 200 degrees Fahrenheit for an hour, then crush. Dried peel powder runs 0.6-0.4-11.5 NPK. A tablespoon worked into the planting hole is equivalent to about 5 fresh peels with none of the nitrogen robbing issue. For fastest results, liquid extract. Chop 3 or 4 peels, soak in a quart of water for 48 to 72 hours, strain, and water directly around the plant. Potassium leaches out of the peel quickly. It needs less microbial processing than nitrogen does. Usable potassium tea in 3 days. 30 days of weekly liquid applications on tomatoes and peppers. Faster fruit set and earlier color change if potassium was the limiting factor to begin with. These two get almost no attention and are probably doing the most interesting work on this list. Onion and garlic skins are high in quercetin, a polyphenol from the flavonoid family. In gut microbiome research, it gets studied as a prebiotic. In soil, the mechanism is similar. A 2021 study in Frontiers in Microbiology looked at how quercetin and related plant secondary metabolites shift soil bacterial community composition. Adding quercetin-rich organic material measurably changed which bacterial groups dominated the soil, favoring genera associated with organic matter breakdown and nutrient cycling, suppressing genera associated with pathogen activity. Onion and garlic skins don't just add nutrients, they change who's living in your soil. That's a different kind of amendment, harder to quantify than an NPK figure, but more meaningful for depleted beds that have been running on synthetic fertilizer for years. Nutrient profile is modest, mostly carbon, some potassium, trace minerals. Won't fix a nitrogen deficit. Use them for what they are, a microbial input. The dry papery skins go straight into compost or work directly into the soil surface. They're thin, low mass, and break down in 2 to 3 weeks. Wet onion flesh is different, composted only, because the smell will bring pests before it brings benefits. Don't pile them thick, more than ½ an inch, and they mat down and repel water, same problem as coffee grounds. Crumble and mix in. Garlic skins carry small amounts of allicin as they decompose. Mild antifungal activity in the root zone. Not strong enough to knock out an active fungal infection, but a useful preventive layer in beds with disease history. 30 days in, measurable shift in microbial diversity, especially in depleted beds. Won't show visually, soil tests will catch it before your eyes will. Wood ash is fast, useful, and the one scrap on this list where overdoing it causes real damage. When wood burns, the carbon, nitrogen, and sulfur go up as gas. What stays is everything the tree pulled from the soil over its lifetime. All the minerals concentrated. By weight, roughly 25 to 50% calcium, 5 to 7% potassium, 1 to 2% phosphorus, 0 nitrogen. On a bagged fertilizer label, wood ash reads about 0.13. The number undersells it. The real value is the calcium and what calcium does to soil pH. Wood ash raises pH. It's a liming agent. Because ash is fine particled, the reaction happens faster than agricultural limestone, which takes weeks to work through the soil. A University of Maine study compared ash to ag lime and found ash produces a better short-term growth response. The speed of reaction is the advantage. The application math from University of New Hampshire Extension. Wood ash has roughly 45 to 50% of the calcium carbonate equivalent of pure lime. Soil test says add 5 pounds of lime per 100 square feet. That's 10 pounds of wood ash for the same pH shift. Maximum annual rate for a vegetable garden without a current soil test, 20 pounds per 1,000 square feet. University of Massachusetts. Extension puts the hard ceiling at 45 pounds per 1,000 square feet. Past that, you push pH so high that phosphorus, iron, and manganese lock up in plants can't reach them. Use it if soil tests below 6.5 pH. Use it for tomatoes and peppers, showing blossom and rot. That's a calcium deficiency symptom, and ash addresses it. Brassicas, cabbage, broccoli, kale prefer conditions near 7.0, so ash works for them. Don't use it on blueberries, rhododendrons, or azaleas. Don't put it near seedlings. It's too alkaline and can affect germination. 3 things that cause problems: mixing ash directly with nitrogen fertilizers, ammonium sulfate, urea, or ammonium nitrate produces ammonia gas. Applying to wet soil loses 40% of the potassium to runoff before it can be absorbed. Storing ash outdoors in an uncovered pile loses most of the potassium within a year to leaching. Store it dry. 30 days out, soil pH shifts measurably within 2 weeks. Phosphorus and magnesium uptake improve as pH crosses into the 6.5 to 7.0 window. Visible difference in plant color and vigor within 3 to 4 weeks if pH was what was holding the bed back. Eggshells need a straight conversation because there's a study most gardening content ignores. They're 95% calcium carbonate, the same compound in agricultural lime. The logic tracks: crush them up, add calcium, fix deficiencies, stop blossom end rot. Researcher Robert Pavlis buried eggshells in garden soil and checked them every year. After 5 years, the shells showed no visible decomposition. After 3 years in soil at pH 7.3 with 40% clay, a completely normal, healthy garden, the outer surface was still smooth and intact. Archaeologists find eggshells at dig sites over 100 years old in the same condition. Calcium carbonate dissolves in acid. Neutral and slightly alkaline soils have almost no mechanism to break it down. Rainwater is weakly acidic, but the reaction is slow. Whole or coarsely crushed shells buried in average garden soil are not doing anything useful this season. That said, eggshells aren't useless. The preparation is everything. Dry the shells completely, then run them through a coffee grinder until you have powder, not crumble, actual powder. University of Illinois. Extension identifies this as the only preparation that produces quickest results, with an estimate of about 3 months for meaningful calcium release in an active compost system. 3 months, not 30 days, but it's in the right direction. For faster results, boiled calcium water. 10 to 20 shells, boiled in water, left to soak overnight, then strained. Each shell releases roughly 4 milligrams of calcium into solution. 2 cups around each plant every 2 weeks. This is the only eggshell method that puts calcium into a form roots can absorb within days. Third use, slug barrier, coarsely crushed, ringed around soft-stemmed plants. Slugs don't cross sharp edges. Entirely mechanical. No decomposition required. 30 days. The boiled liquid method can begin reducing blossom end rot symptoms on tomatoes and peppers within 2 to 3 weeks. Fine powder starts building soil calcium reserves over months, multi-season work. Whole shells, plan on seeing them when you dig the bed in 5 years. Let's be straight about what 30 days can and can't do. If your soil's problem is pH, wood ash addresses it in 10 to 14 days. That's the fastest intervention on this list. If your soil's problem is low microbial activity, the more common diagnosis in beds that have been fed only synthetic fertilizers for years. Coffee grounds and compost and onion skins worked into the surface will measurably shift your microbial population within 3 to 4 weeks. You won't see it with your eyes, but your next round of plants will grow faster and require less intervention. 30 days isn't enough to build rich, permanent soil from scratch, but it is enough to restart biological activity, address specific deficiencies, and give your plants a noticeably better foundation for the season. The scraps on this list aren't shortcuts, they're inputs. Soil responds to consistent, correct inputs over time. Most dead soil didn't die in a week, and it won't fully recover in one either. But it does respond faster than most people think. If you stop treating it like a pot to pour things into and start treating it like a living system that needs the right food in the right form. That's the whole idea.